Welcome to this tutorial. This tutorial is going to take you through layering and blending modes as well. So hopefully you know a little bit about layers, but the idea over here, you can see that the name is written for our layers. With those layers you can rename your layers. So at the moment there's a picture on layer 4 of some stairs, so I could type in stairs. Picture on layer 3 of like a freaky eye looking thing. Layer 2 can be a surfer, and so on. Now what you'll notice is as I turn off these eyes on the layers, the next one becomes visible. So you always start with a background layer and you double click and press OK to make that active and move it around. But you can notice that it gives me a little thumbnail, a little summary of what it's going to look like over here. So you can see at the moment, whoops, on layer 1, so you must click on a layer when you want to work on it, and that's what you saw happen just before. So I click on layer 1 and you can notice that I can move that object around just using our move arrow. Then we've got object number 2, which is our surfer, and he takes up the whole canvas, the whole picture. So now I can't see the texture behind it when I put him on as visible. So anything that's higher on your layers means that it's in front on your canvas, because Photoshop is 2D. We can make things look a bit 3D by our layering, but essentially it's a 2D program. So what you'll see is that the surfer is now in front and we can't see that texture. But in saying that, watch how when I grab layer 1, left click and drag him above the surfer, he is now in front of the surfer, and because he's a smaller image, you can see the checkerboard around him, you can actually see both those images. Now if I bring the eye up, can't see the surfer, or I could see, whoops, again you notice I'm on layer 1 and I was moving, so it was moving my picture in the background, so Control Z is undo. Now I move this eye around like so, and you'll see that you can start to see some of the images behind when you move that image around, and then when I turn the stairs on I can't see any of them. So that's just a basic intro into layers and how they work. You can turn them on and off. You can also lock them. If I didn't want to move that or change that at all, it will say you can't complete it because the layer is locked and you need to unlock it to make sure that you can move it again. So that's basically how layers work. This thing over here is called our blending mode. Now it's a matter of just, they're grouped by the lines into similar effects. It's the way the picture is layered on top of one another. So if I take my eye and I do one that I know called multiply, it takes the white out of the color, and so you can see how cool that looks in that it starts to layer over the top, and you do see both images because it's used a special blending mode to take the white out. You can also do a number of different things, so that's called a color burn, and you can see as you move it around it creates a different effect. You can do a saturation. Some of them you'll find won't do too much at all, and then others will do quite unique things. So with blending modes, it's really just a matter of having a play and working out how it works. Now this is our original picture. Another way that you can make things look semi-see-through is using your opacity and dropping it back so it's sort of just in the background or just sitting over the top. So you can see there that that's where you see a lot of blending of images, is that they drop back the opacity, and you can also drop back the opacity and have a blending mode. So you can see how you can increase the strength of that. So it's very important that you always have a play with your blending mode and your opacity to see what the best sort of effect you can get. So if I then click on layer 1, which is our texture, and have a go, you can see all kinds of things happen. So it's really fun just having a play. Sometimes you get a bit disappointed when nothing works, and then other times you'll find that something looks really cool and you decide to keep that effect. So that's, I guess, the most basic intro to layers. The only other thing that I can show you here is that you can empty layers and put them in the bin, and you can copy them and make multiple. So I can say I want 2 of these pictures now. I'm going to duplicate it by dragging it down there, and now you can see I've got 2 of those boxes. I can send this one back to normal and you can see it's nice and dark again. So you can always copy layers. You can rename them as well, or duplicate them by pressing the right click. So again, doing multiple things. To delete it, I could delete it like that, or I can drag him into the rubbish bin. So multiple ways of doing the same thing. So that's a good little introduction. What I need you to do is open a couple of photos, and all I want you to do is try and overlap them sort of so that different ones are showing through. Have a play with your blending modes and your opacity and see what kind of cool effects you can get happening, and then you can move on to the next shoot.